You know, after more than 30 years working with patients over 50, I've learned something incredibly valuable. Sometimes the smallest changes in your diet end up creating the biggest breakthroughs for your aching joints. I'm Dr. David Warren. I'm 60 years old, and every day in my clinic, I meet patients who want just one simple thing. Doctor, I just want to get out of bed in the morning without pain. And I understand that feeling. That stiffness in your knees like someone locked them overnight. That burning sensation in your wrist when you pick up a bowl. Or that heaviness in your lower back, like somebody hung a few extra pounds on your spine. Most people think arthritis is just old age. But after thousands of stories I've listened to, I've realized this. Arthritis isn't always about aging. It's about years of hidden inflammation, oxidative stress, and everyday eating habits we never thought twice about. And here's what surprised me most after all these years. A food we treat as simple, ordinary, something we eat every day, can actually become a powerful anti-inflammatory tool if you choose the right type. And that food is rice. You may have eaten rice your whole life, but very few people realize that the color of each grain, the way it's processed, and the nutrients hiding inside its thin bran layer can directly affect inflammation levels, joint flexibility, and even your daily energy. I still remember a 67-year-old patient, Mrs. Eleanor. She told me, "Doctor, I eat very healthy. Rice is the only thing I can't give up." I smiled and said, "You don't need to give it up. You just need to switch the type." 6 weeks later, she came back with a completely different expression. Her knees felt lighter, her hands weren't as stiff in the morning, and she was sleeping deeper. All from switching one thing in her meals, the type of rice she used. Her story isn't rare. When you choose the right rice, you're giving your body plant compounds that can naturally reduce inflammation, support cartilage, stabilize blood sugar, improve digestion, and even strengthen your immune system. And that's why in today's video, I want to show you the 5 and the 7 best types of rice for arthritis relief. The exact kinds I've recommended to hundreds of my patients over the years. These aren't the common supermarket varieties. These are deeply pigmented, nutrient-dense grains packed with minerals and antioxidants that help calm inflammation from the inside out. If you want to reduce joint pain naturally, without strong medication, and regain more mobility, stay with me. Once we hit our 50s, something starts happening inside the body that most people never notice. Inflammatory reactions last longer, hit harder, and become harder to shut off. Instead of calming down in a day or two, like when we were young, inflammation lingers, and many older adults fall into what I call persistent inflammation. It's low-grade, quiet, but strong enough to ruin your whole day. My patients describe it the same way, hundreds of times. Mornings are getting tougher. If I sit too long, my knees lock up. My hands feel weak when I grip things. And what I always explain is this. Most of that pain isn't from broken joints. It's from the constant attack of inflammatory signals. And what's even more surprising, many of those inflammatory signals come directly from our meals. Most people don't realize that foods we think are harmless, white rice, white bread, refined carbs, are major triggers. They spike blood sugar quickly, increase oxidative stress, overstimulate the immune system, and make the joints more sensitive. And if you already have arthritis, your body feels this even more intensely. I had a patient named Harold, 71, who always asked me, "Why do my joints hurt if I'm exercising and sleeping well?" Once we reviewed his diet, I noticed he ate white rice every day because he believed it was light and easy to digest. But for someone with arthritis, your body reacts to refined starches very differently. I didn't tell him to quit rice. I never ask patients to give up a food they've eaten their whole lives. I simply guided him to switch to a better type, one that doesn't spike blood sugar, doesn't fan inflammation, and provides antioxidants that protect the joints. 5 weeks later, he came back and said, "Doctor, I can't believe a few grains of rice made such a difference. I stand up easier, my hands aren't burning anymore, and I sleep deeper than I have in years." That moment reinforced what I've seen repeatedly. Sometimes the problem isn't how much you eat, it's what type you choose. Different rice varieties contain different fiber levels, different natural pigments, and different anti-inflammatory effects. Some can make your joints worse, while others help calm inflammation, support cartilage, and stabilize blood sugar, all essential for managing arthritis. And that's exactly why I want to guide you, step by step, to choosing the right rice so your joints can finally breathe easier again. When we talk about arthritis, most people think of age, weather changes, or old injuries. But the science is far more interesting. The joint pain you feel every day is the result of a chain of chemical reactions inside your body. And those reactions are deeply affected by what you eat. After more than 3 decades working with adults over 50, I've learned that understanding just a few key principles makes it clear why switching your rice can dramatically reduce inflammation. 1. Arthritis comes from a prolonged immune response. Your immune system is brilliant. When something is damaged, it cleans the area and starts repairing tissue. But as we age, the immune system becomes overactive. The result? It mistakenly targets the joints, irritates the cartilage, and reduces the quality of joint lubrication. That's why you feel stiffness, swelling, heat, and pain. 2. Blood sugar spikes are one of the biggest inflammation triggers. Older adults rarely expect this. Refined carb, like white rice, cause quick spikes, then quick crashes. Every spike triggers inflammatory molecules that tell the immune system to react strongly. Whole grain and naturally pigmented rice varieties keep blood sugar stable, which means less inflammation. 3. The rice bran contains powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Most of rice's anti-inflammatory abilities come from the bran and outer layer, the parts that are removed in white rice. When rice keeps its bran, you get soluble fiber that feeds good gut bacteria, polyphenols that reduce inflammation, anthocyanins that protect cells, minerals like magnesium, zinc, and manganese, essential for joint function. That's why I always tell my patients, if you want less pain, keep the bran. 4. A healthy gut gives us less joint inflammation. One of the biggest medical breakthroughs in recent years is the link between gut health and total body inflammation. When your gut is out of balance, your immune system becomes hyperreactive. When you restore it with fiber and resistant starch from whole or colored rice, your body calms down. The results? Fewer flare-ups, less swelling, easier mornings. 5. Natural pigments in rice protect cartilage. Red, purple, and black rice contain powerful antioxidants like anthocyanins, procyanidins, and carotenoids. They help reduce oxidative stress in cartilage, support cell repair, protect the joint's shock absorbers, slow degeneration. In other words, the right rice doesn't just reduce pain, it helps your joints recover. 6. Magnesium, manganese, and zinc. 3 minerals arthritis patients often lack. These minerals help regulate nerves, build collagen, and support tissue repair. Whole grain and colored rice varieties are natural, gentle sources of these minerals. All of this leads to one clear conclusion. Not all rice is the same. Some varieties truly support your joints, while others make inflammation worse. And today, I want to help you choose the best ones. Here's the English version in a natural American spoken style. Number 4, purple rice, easing deep inflammation in your muscles. The natural purple color of this rice comes from a group of pigments similar to anthocyanins, but with anti-inflammatory activity that can be even stronger. What makes purple rice stand out is that it strongly targets inflammation in the muscles around your joints. Not just the cartilage, helps improve blood flow to your arms and legs, increases flexibility in tendons and muscles, supports tissue recovery after light activity. Many of my patients tell me that when they eat purple rice 3 to 4 times a week, they feel their neck and shoulders lighten up, their neck turns more easily, and their knees feel less tight after standing for a long time. Who is it best for? People who have both muscle and joint pain, or those who often feel tightness and stiffness in the muscles around their joints. Number 5. Germinated brown rice, GABA rice. Relaxing your muscles and deepening your sleep. Over the years, I've noticed something very important. Your joints can't truly recover if your sleep is poor. Germinated brown rice contains a special compound called GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which helps Relax the nervous system, reduce feelings of muscle tightness. Support deeper, more restorative sleep. Calm nighttime inflammation. The key point is that GABA is most active at night, right when your body's busy rebuilding cartilage and reducing inflammation. On top of that, germinated brown rice is softer, easier to digest, and very suitable for older adults. Who is it best for? People who have more pain at night, trouble sleeping, or persistent muscle tightness. Number 6. Wild rice, a super dense mineral source. Wild rice technically isn't rice at all. It's the seed of a type of grass that grows naturally in North America. But when it comes to joint nutrition, I still consider it one of my top superfoods. That's because wild rice is rich in zinc, involved in joint tissue repair phosphorus, supports strong, healthy bones, insoluble fiber, excellent for the digestive system of older adults, plant-based protein, helps maintain muscle mass around your joints. Its naturally chewy texture means it digests slowly, keeps you full longer, and helps keep blood sugar stable for hours. Who is it best for? People with arthritis who are also overweight, or anyone who needs better blood sugar control. Number 7. Red Himalayan rice, balancing immunity and boosting circulation. This rice is relatively rare, but its value is especially high for arthritis patients. It contains a more diverse mix of plant pigments than many other red rice varieties, and it's also rich in iron, which improves oxygen delivery, potassium, which helps reduce fluid retention around the joints, B vitamins, which support the nerves and muscles. Its biggest strength is its ability to support healthy circulation, reduce feelings of numbness or heaviness in the legs, improve flexibility when you change positions. I often recommend this rice for patients who wake up with morning stiffness or those with poor circulation. Who is it best for? People with cold, numb hands and feet, or joints that creak and grind in the morning. Now that you understand the 7 types of rice that are good for your joints, let's answer the question I hear most from my patients. Doctor, I get it, but how exactly am I supposed to eat them? And this is the most important part, because if you use them the wrong way, you can spike your blood sugar, cause bloating, make digestion harder, or reduce nutrient absorption. But if you use them correctly, you'll clearly feel the difference. Your joints feel looser, less swollen, less stiff in the morning, and your energy feels more stable. Today, I'll walk you through it step by step. 1. Rotate 2 to 3 types of rice. Each week, our bodies respond best when they get a variety of nutrients. You don't have to stick to just one type of rice. I often give my patients a simple schedule like this. Monday, long grain brown rice. Wednesday, purple rice or black rice. Friday, germinated brown rice or red Himalayan rice. Rotating like this helps you get anthocyanins, lower inflammation, manganese, protects cartilage. GABA improves sleep, magnesium, relaxes muscles. 2. Soak your rice for at least 4 to 6 hours before cooking. This is the trick many of my patients say has saved their digestion. Soaking helps. Reduce phytates, compounds that block mineral absorption. Soften the bran layer, slightly increase natural sprouting, make the rice much easier on the stomach. Older adults with weaker digestion feel much more comfortable and less heavy after meals when they do this. 3. Use enough water. So the rice is soft and easy to chew. Whole grain and colored rice need more water. 1 cup of rice, 2.5 to 3 cups of water. For wild rice, about 3.5 cups of water. Older patients really need a softer texture to avoid jaw pain, chewing fatigue, or indigestion. 4. Pair your rice with anti-inflammatory foods. Rice is just one part of the puzzle. To get the best anti-inflammatory effect, I encourage my patients to pair it with things like broccoli, rich in sulforaphane, salmon or mackerel, omega-3 fats, turmeric with black pepper, leafy green vegetables, avocado, or olive oil. These foods help your body turn off inflammation faster and protect the cartilage more effectively. 5. Avoid pairing it with sugar or deep-fried foods. This is one of the most common mistakes I see. No matter how good your rice is, if you pair it with deep-fried foods, sugary drinks, or desserts right after the meal, your body will still launch a strong inflammatory response and cancel out many of the benefits. 6. Portion size for adults. Over 50. As we age, our metabolism slows down, so portions should be smaller. About 1.2 cup to 2 per 3 cup of cooked rice per meal is enough. Even the healthiest rice can contribute to inflammation if you overeat and overload your blood sugar. 7. Eat rice at lunch or early dinner and limit it at night. I always remind my patients, high blood sugar at night worsens your sleep and makes your joints hurt more in the morning. Dinner should focus more on vegetables, soup, or light protein. Rice is best at lunch, ideal, or an early evening meal if you're hungry. 8. Stay consistent for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Your body needs time to rebuild tissue, adjust immune responses, stabilize blood sugar, and restore a healthy gut microbiome. Most of my patients start to feel changes around week 3 to 4 and much clearer improvements by week 6. That's why I always say, the right rice isn't just food, it's part of your healing. I want to share a very special story with you about a patient named Samuel, 72 years old. He's one of the people who really made me think deeply about how we view our own pain. I met him one autumn morning when he walked into my office with a slight limp, one hand holding his knee. He spoke in a tired voice. "Doctor, I know getting old comes with pain, but I'm exhausted. I just want to walk with my grandson without stopping every few minutes." I asked him about his eating habits. He gave a little laugh and said, "I eat the way I always have. The only difference is I eat more white rice now because my teeth aren't as strong and I like soft food." But as we get older, what's easy to eat isn't always easy on the body. White rice is soft and convenient, yes, but it spikes blood sugar quickly and keeps inflammation smoldering in the background. Samuel had no idea. I told him, "Samuel, I'm not asking you to give up rice. I just want you to change the kind of rice you use. One small change that can lead to something big." He gave an awkward smile. "Doctor, my grandkids can change their clothes every day if they want. Me, changing my rice? That's harder." But he agreed to try. I guided him to use 3 types of rice, rotating them each week: germinated brown rice, purple rice, and red rice. I asked him to soak the rice overnight, cook it softer than usual, and pair it with fish, leafy greens, and a bit of turmeric with black pepper. 3 weeks later, he came back. I'll never forget the look in his eyes, a kind of lightness, as if he just found something he'd lost a long time ago. He told me, "Doctor, this morning I stood up without holding on to the table." I asked again, just to make sure I heard him right. He nodded and smiled. "I'm not saying the pain is gone, but my joints, they're calmer, lighter, like someone took some of the weight off." Then he shared the part that moved me the most. "Last week, I went for a walk with my grandson. We got halfway around the park and I was still going. He looked back at me and said, 'Grandpa, you're walking fast today.' Doctor, I haven't heard that in a very long time." You know, that moment wasn't just about one knee feeling better. It was about a whole family changing. It was a child's laughter, a grandfather's pride, and the feeling of being fully present again, not held back by pain. And all of that started with one thing: changing the type of rice in his meals. After hearing Samuel's story, I became even more convinced of this. Sometimes the thing that changes our life isn't a giant leap. It's one small step in the right direction. If you've watched or listened this far, I truly believe you care about your health. And I respect that deeply. I always tell my patients, the healing journey starts when you decide to take part in it. And if what I shared today helped you understand why a simple change, like switching your rice, can calm down arthritis pain, then I hope you'll keep walking this path with me. Do me a small favor. Click the like button if you found this helpful. That helps YouTube show this to more older adults who are going through the same struggles you are. Leave a comment below. What kind of rice do you eat every day? And what food would you like me to talk about next? Every comment doesn't just help the algorithm. It helps me understand what you're facing so I can create the most useful content for you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit subscribe. I share practical, science-based tips on nutrition, joint health, and lifestyle specifically for people over 50, based on what I've seen work in real patients for more than 30 years. Thank you for spending this time with me. Before we end today's video, I want you to take just a quiet moment and ask yourself one simple question. How much better could this body feel if I treated it just a little more gently each day? Many of my patients used to believe joint pain was unavoidable, that at 60 or 70, pain is just normal. But after all these years in practice, I've learned the opposite. Our bodies don't give up. They're just waiting for us to support them the right way. I've seen some beautiful things in my clinic. I've seen an 80-year-old woman practice tiny steps every morning, then one day come back and proudly tell me she can walk around her neighborhood without stopping. I've seen an older gentleman who once couldn't lift his arm because of pain, but a few months later he wrapped a birthday present for his grandchild all by himself. I've seen eyes filled with hope again because people could feel their bodies opening up, lighter, more flexible, and capable of doing things they thought were gone forever. And do you know what all of them had in common? They started with very small changes, switching their rice, walking 5 extra minutes, adding 1 handful of greens to each meal, drinking enough water, going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Not big, dramatic changes, just small, steady choices repeated over time, like tiny grains of rice that, together, can nourish an entire body. If you're listening to me right now, I want you to believe this. You can have less pain. You can be stronger. And your body can still heal, no matter how old you are. Start gently. Start with something as simple as the rice on your plate today. One small change in the right direction. I'll be here walking this road with you.